idiots on a podcast. Like,
I don't know what I'm doing.
Runs sucks.
We don't know if any of that's true, but oh, Jordan, don't give me this technically crap. Come on.
Got personal this week.
Lots of stuff happened. Just
Chad Berger, Brian Dawson, USD.
Yeah, you're wrong.
You guys do it in a really professional manner, and it's awesome. Good evening, Kyle fans. Welcome into a very special edition of the Howling Podcast, Season 2, Episode 31 already. We're mic'd up, nerded out, ready for some chaos. My name is Jordan Decker. I will be joined by fellow co-host Mark Wendt and recent Hall of Famer Chad Berger very soon. New friends of the show and USD women's basketball legend, former head coach and current coach of Nebraska Cornhuskers, Amy Williams, seniors from the 2016 WNIT championship team, Margret McCloud, Kelly Stewart, and Taya Hemiller, back in the Yotes days, all join us tonight. We'll look forward to reliving the historic 2016 WNIT championship run, as well as end the episode with a full recap of the week in Coyote athletics, and then look forward to what lies ahead. We'll give our Maloney Real Estate eye charts of the week and close out the show with our DQ Player of the Week. Quick disclaimer, the opinions on this show are Mark, Chad's, and myself. They do not represent USD or USD athletics. Social channels, you can find us over on X at HowWithUs3, myself at JD6OP5, Mark at WDiamond605, and Chad at Chad Berger, BIRGER at Chad Berger. Welcome those joining on Facebook tonight. If you don't follow us over there, just search the Howling Podcast. Please like and follow our Facebook page. On YouTube, welcome to those joining on YouTube tonight at the Howling Podcast. Please, if you do not already, smash that subscribe button. And last, on Instagram, just search _Howling_podcast. That's the socials. As always, tonight's show is brought to you by our friends over at 19 Brewing Company in Vermilion. So before we get going, a quick word from our friend Katie at 19 Brewing Company.
Looking for a place where good beer meets better company? Welcome to 19 Brewing Company, Vermilion's first craft brewery and home to Coyote Legacy Blonde Ale. Brought to you by 2 USD alumni, Coyote Legacy isn't just any beer. It's a chance to give back to student scholarships while enjoying a refreshing blonde ale. With 12 rotating taps, a flavor-it-yourself seltzer, and homemade root beer, we have something for every Coyote fan. 19 Brewing Company. Good beer, better company.
Let's bring in the guys, Mark and Chad. What an episode we have tonight. You guys excited?
A little starstruck, a little bit.
yeah, I'm nervous, guys. I'm gonna screw something up here.
The pre-show was like memory lane, seeing everyone. I can't wait.
Looking forward to it
today.
Well, hey, let's get there. But before we do, Mark, why don't you take us through the last week's results?
Last week's results, research indicates 68% of our viewers can read. So I'm going to go through this really fast because we got a lot of great people waiting. The big news, women's basketball is in the Final Four. We beat Pepperdine and Montana State this afternoon. Softball 1 and 2. Volleyball played up at Brookings. We don't know what happened. Tennis defeated Kansas City today. We popped over there real quick. Women's golf had a winner. Ella won the thing. They finished 4th. And track and field claimed 7 titles at the Wildcat Invitational. Jordan, take it away.
New friends of the show. I'm so excited to welcome in several folks from that WNIT championship run from 2016. As you can see, Mark, Chad, and I were definitely on the court during this picture, not photoshopped at all. The lighting says so. But we look forward to chatting with former coach during that time and current Nebraska women's basketball coach, Amy Williams, former seniors from that team. We welcome in Kelly Stewart, Margret McCloud, and Taya Young. Hey, everybody.
Hello.
Hi.
Can't thank you guys enough for joining us.
I can't hear anything. Am I?
Oh, no.
That's all right. Let's get started. We got a lot for this recap. I think there were 6 total games. We're not going to go through every single one of them, but I wanted to start, guys. We started the WNIT run against Creighton, and you sent them packing back-to-back years. just wanted to get your guys' thoughts. Kelly, we can start with you. You know, do you remember what? And obviously, this is a decade ago. Okay, so I don't remember much about a decade ago. What, Kelly? We'll start with you, then we'll go to Ty, and then Margaret. What do you remember about that Creighton game?
Oh my gosh, we played Creighton every year. I'm pretty sure, no matter what, for non-conference, and so it was like we knew that team well. Plus, with them being close by in Omaha, a lot of the girls like had either played basketball, like played AAU with these girls, or just knew the staff. And so it was kind of like that team that's not in your conference, but feels like they're in your conference, and just a little rivalry in that sense. So that's about all I remember about I remember beating them, and it was just to get that first win after everything that had happened with the excitement of the season and then the conference tournament, and just like readjusting our focus and everything to get back into the thick of things and like win again and get the wheels in motion. I remember it was like, all right, we're here now. So that felt really good.
Yeah. I would say like Creighton historically has just been a really solid powerhouse program. And so it was really fun to know we were going to be able to, we hosted that game, didn't we? At home. I think most of them were at home. Yeah. Okay. Just more of like a local competitive environment. So lots of fans were able to travel. We, of course, have the best fans. So the dome was obviously packed. But just kind of piggybacking off of Kelly, like we've played them in the past. We know a lot about their program, and it was just nice I remember feeling pretty confident. I mean, you have to do the one game at a time mentality, like Coach always said, but just knowing kind of the history of the programs and just believing in each other. Like, I just remember feeling confident going into that first round.
Ty, how about you?
Yeah, okay. So that was the first game. Is that right?
Yeah, it was the first one. We
kicked it off and played in the dome. I think it was a really competitive game. As we know, Creighton's very well coached. We play them every year, and it was always just a battle. But we didn't really kind of know what to expect going into the WNIT. But it was such a great feeling to win, and then it definitely boosted our confidence. So that was definitely the first game started something very special. So it was a win, and just great to play in front of our fans.
1,960 of them, to be exact, in a 74-68 dub. Next up, there was a lot of favorite games during this run. Obviously, we'll get to the end ones here. But first up, the only road game at Minnesota. What an environment. I remember watching that game, freaking out during the game, obviously celebrating after the game. Coach Williams, I want to start with you. This was the first win over U of M in program history. What do you recall about that game and, the tremendous fan support that we had at the game too?
Well, what I recall is that, the first play of the game, we lose the tip, and we had kind of been talking a little bit about how they had pretty special player, Rachel Bannum, that we tried to kind of express as much as we could to our team that, she'll shoot it, and she'll shoot it from anywhere, and they win the tip, and she takes a shot that's literally behind the volleyball line, and it just goes in. And I'll never forget, like, Jasmine Trimboli looking over at the bench, like, with eyes this big, and we were like, yeah, they're, that we told you she's gonna shoot from there. But it was like so unique, because we had just come off this game with kind of a, it was a high-powered offense, and I'll just never, one of the plays that stands out for me is, we scored over 100 points there at the barn, and there was a play where, Caitlin Duffy shot a three, missed it. We got an offensive rebound, kicked it back to her. She shot another three, missed it. We got another offensive rebound and kicked it back to her, and she shot another three on the same possession, and she hit that third shot. And I'm like, the confidence that it showed that, not just Caitlin, but the rest of our team had in each other, and the way that this team so bought into and encouraged each other. And they, there was never any doubt in Caitlin Duffy's mind
if any of those 3 shots were going to go up. And I just thought that was a group that played with such great confidence, and it was it was a high powered offensive game. And that was, then we had to turn around in the next ball game and really grind it out with a defensive battle. So I just thought we really proved that we could win a lot of different ways that year. And that was the fun one at the barn.
And Caitlin and Taya, Caitlin and then Taya obviously joining us tonight. Part of that huge run at the end of the third, I think it was like 12-2, and Taya, you had an and one there and during that run. So I guess, what do you remember about that environment at the barn, Taya?
Well, I just remember, like Coach Williams was talking about, or like she mentioned, we were playing against Rachel Bannum. And from what I remember, I think there was another guard, maybe Carly. I think that was her name, but it was like the 2-headed monsters. And I know I was guarding Rachel Bannum. And to me, I guess my focus was, how can I be the best defender that game? And, whatever my team needs, and that was to be just kind of a defensive pest. So I took my job seriously, and I don't really remember how many points she scored, but hopefully I did my job. I think I actually picked her pocket, and I think I tell people that to this day. And obviously she plays in the WNBA. Yeah, I really think that was just one of the best wins we've ever had. So just really, really proud. But yeah, it was a gritty win. And yeah, that's what I remember.
Literally to quote Coach Williams, I am so proud of Taya. I thought she played great defense and even got her hands on a couple of crossovers. To be able to control offensively with 6 assists and 1 turnover with tasks with a defensive assignment like that is incredible. So there you go. You played it stellar. You did. Yeah. So we're going to bring in another friend of the show, play-by-play, John Thayer, super friend of the show. Now, you guys won Minnesota at Minnesota 101-89, and John has a great story about post-game, I believe.
Yeah, it was kind of a build-up for the whole tournament. I'll never forget walking into the Dome before that Creighton game. And I'm getting ready to set up, and Kate Liveringhouse was always one of the first people out of the locker room to shoot. And sometimes it was just to walk around, and sometimes it was to shoot. But I'll never forget, she came up to me and she said, John, I don't know if we can win this game. And I was like, why not? She's like, nobody wants to be here. Because this team was so disappointed having lost the Summit League championship that year. They had a major goal, because this was a really, really special team that we had. And they grind one out against Creighton, and then you go up and you beat Minnesota and Rachel Bannum, and you knew how tough that was going to be in a road environment. And I'll never forget, it's one of my favorite stories of getting on the bus. And back then I wore a suit for radio broadcast. Thank you, COVID, for getting us into more comfortable clothing. But I remember taking it to the back of the bus, and it was Margret McCloud. She looked at me and she said, John, I looked at this bracket. We can win this whole thing. And I'll never forget the feeling inside for me of wow, something just clicked for this team after they just beat Minnesota. And I don't know what's about to happen, but you could just feel the energy shift, with this group. And obviously we came home, and the crowds continue to get bigger and bigger and bigger every single round. But this was a really special team, and that's a tournament and a run that I hope, Coyote fans and this team in particular gets to cherish for a very long time.
And John, you mentioned it. We come back home to host UNI in front of over 2,400 folks, Coyote fans in attendance. And what a battle. It 51-50, snuck away with a 1-point dub. Kelly and Margret, I kind of want to ask you, because you guys hit some big free throws down the end. Margret, let's start with you. What do you remember about that UNI game most?
Well, I'm not going to lie, Jordan. I mean, yeah, it was a long time ago, but I'll never forget that year in my free throws. We were working every day on the anxiety, the mental game. I'm like, I just got to make one of these. I can do this. Just get up there and be confident. And oh my goodness, thank the Lord it went in. We still laugh about my free throws. We can laugh now, Coach, but I know at the time it was not funny. About it now. You know, I just like, yes, I was nervous, big shot, big free throw, but I just knew I had like the best team behind me, and no matter what happened, like we were going to be good. Yeah, super physical. I cannot remember her name, but I know what we battled it out in the paint every single year. And it was just a gritty win. And yeah, we did it. On to the next one.
Kelly, how about you with your free throws?
Oh, man. That was rough. Rough times. I try to forget those. Okay, two things from the Northern Iowa game. First of all, Margaret's free throw, I remember like the one to put us ahead, coach is like, just nobody foul, like don't get an over the back or anything when we're going after the rebound. She's going to make it anyways. It's like, just don't foul. That would be the worst possible thing. And you look at, someone got a picture of Margaret shooting that free throw, and Taya is like throwing a girl just off the wall. And it's like, still went in. So then they come down, and I can't remember who I was guarding, but she was their main ball handler was coming down, and like I fell down or something, like, and this girl that I was supposed to be guarding, she got the ball and she was looking to shoot, and I was just on the ground like, this is it. And it's my fault. And Nicole came out of nowhere and just like covered for me. And I was like, oh my God, my life just flashed before my eyes. But that was a grinder of a game. Like, of all the games, I mean, each game had its own unique kind of feel to it. And that one was just like the absolute grinder. And just to come out with the win, and just like our fans, it was huge. I remember Northern Iowa was even having trouble hearing, like calling out their plays because our fans were so loud. So that was awesome. But
yeah, you all were on record quoting that the crowd was a huge factor down the stretch.
Yeah, that was awesome. And they're another team that's kind of like Creighton, where they're just a historic, like they're a great program. They always have been, and we're familiar with them because we play them, in the non-conference a lot. So just a program you have a lot of respect for. But then we really grinded that game, and to get that win, and just to see the fans build up after we went on the road. We had great support there, and then we come back and we have even more support. It was really cool, and just another. I feel like each one of these games, we just saw how our team just stuck together and trusted in each other, and that just kept building. So that was cool.
I love it. Again, 51-50 in front of 2,400 folks in the, what do they call it? Not the Super 16. Super 16. So on to the Grade 8. Grade 8 against Western Kentucky, WKU. This one, again, as John mentioned, the attendance just kept going up and up and up. This one was in front of over 2,700 folks. Nicole had a great game against Western Kentucky. Really, I was looking, because obviously my memory, I was like, oh, okay. Rebounding, you guys crushed it during that game. So Coach Williams, I'll go to you for this game. What do you remember about the Western Kentucky Grade 8 game?
Yeah, well, the head coach at Western Kentucky at that time was Michelle Clark-Hurd, who was an assistant at Nebraska, like right immediately after I finished my playing career, and I was really familiar with her just because of the coaching staff connection there and who I had played for. So to have her to be kind of welcoming in somebody that was kind of a little bit of a mentor or a coach that I really looked up to, and then be kind of battling it out in a setting like that, it was something that I was like, kind of excited to be able to do. But it was such a unique game because like all the girls have kind of talked about and mentioned, Creighton and Minnesota and Northern Iowa, those are some regional teams that we have a really strong familiarity with. And then all of a sudden now we're playing this Western Kentucky team that we just knew nothing about. We just knew nothing about their roster, their style of play, so one of my greatest memories was just, the way that the days were kind of structured of the tournament is sometimes we would play a game, and then we would get to the next day, have the team to my house, and we'd watch the game that, of maybe we're going to play the winner of this game. And, it gave us a little time to just live together, be watching that next opponent with scouting reports for either team in hand, and just throughout the tournament it seemed like that, but I think that was my biggest memory from that game, is to just kind of a very unique opportunity this time of year to go up against somebody that you just really know hardly anything about, and they know nothing about you, and it allowed us to be able to kind of just have kind of a fresh approach. But I thought that they struggled to contain all of the pieces that we had kind of clicking, just seniors and lots of upperclassmen and players that were clicking on all cylinders at that point in the tournament.
And Taya, you scored your 1,000th career point during this game, if I recall. So I want to ask you, as you guys are going through this as seniors, like every home game and that opportunity you get, that's the last game in the Dome, right? Do you guys as a group and as a team talk about that before each game? Like, did that provide a little extra motivation for you each game?
Yeah. And I don't know if we ever really talked about it, but I think we could feel that type of energy. And I know, like, when we would be announced and we'd all huddle up, like, we could just tell, like, you could just see it in each other's eyes. Like, we didn't want this to be the last game. And I think I kind of get emotional thinking about it, but I know, like, I tell myself, like, not to look in the crowd, because, like, I didn't want to get, like, too nervous. So then I just really looked at my team, my coaches, and I really leaned on them in, like, this, like, nerve-wracking yet exciting environment. I really just leaned on them and just trusted the process and trusted, like, all of our hard work and dedication that we put in. And I knew that at this point, nothing was going to stop us to win. So it was just really inspiring. And I think we just played with so much heart, because we knew, like, this could be the last and we didn't want it. So I think just the special bond that we had as our team and our coaches, that really was the determining factor and really motivated us.
And what's your reward for beating Western Kentucky, but the nation's leading three-point shooting team in Oregon? What a game. 88-54 in front of over 5,000 in the Dome. I can't remember if that was a Saturday game or not, maybe a midweek game, but over 5,000 in the Dome. You guys held Oregon, three-point leaders in the nation at the time, 5 of 14 from deep. Most of your points came from three-pointers. 15 of 21 from three. 45 of the 88 came from behind the arc. Margaret, I want to start with you, and then Taya, you probably are going to be the star of this game here. We have a highlight clip that I'm sure you haven't seen before. But Margaret, during this game, what's going through your mind as you guys continue to hit three after three after three against a Power 5 school in Oregon?
Yeah, I mean, I always had nothing but confidence every time someone would shoot the ball, and I just was doing my job, ready for the rebound, and I did nothing because they kept making them all. I just remember at some point I was like, what? Like, a little bit in disbelief, but also not. I'm like, heck yeah, let's keep going. Like, keep putting them up. You guys are killing it. And that was probably the most fun I've had in a game, I think, looking back, probably ever. I mean, just, the name Oregon, like, growing up as a Midwest basketball lover, like going to all these camps and always watching the NCAA and all the big tournaments. And I mean, Oregon was like such an intimidating team for me. And we're out here just rain after rain after rain. I'm like, what in the world? And it was just so much fun. And, like, I didn't want them to stop shooting, and they didn't. So I'm glad they did it.
Now, Margaret, if I looked up, I don't think you attempted a 3-point shot. Would you have hindsight? Is that a regret that you didn't at least try to throw one up there during that game?
I really wanted to. And I thought, I don't want to mess up the percentage, even though I could do it. Jordan, this is so funny, but I actually, in my whole career as a basketball player, I am 100% from the 3-point line. 1 of 1 in high school against Rapid City Central. 100%. So I just wanted to throw that out there.
Was it a swish or a bank?
I do not remember, but if Coach Williams needed me, I would have stepped up and done it. But she did not need me to do it that game. Everyone else had it under control.
I love that.
Yeah.
Coach, what are you thinking during this? I mean, obviously keeping composure, game's not over, but that third quarter, and we'll get to this highlight here in just a second from Taya's shot, but was it the plan to go 15 of 20, to shoot threes against Oregon? Like what are you thinking during this game?
Well, my funniest memories from that, number one is Amanda Hart, who was our director of operations. Like, she was walking around our office bribing anybody to please, I'll pay you $20 if you will be the one that takes Oregon back to the West Gym for practice gym. You know, she was like, I do not want to have to walk them back there and say, this is where you get to have practice, you know, like whatever, to the West Gym, you know, like, but, yeah, to welcome in a program like that, you know, I do know it was a major point of emphasis. They're the number 1 3-point shooting team in the country. We've got to get out to shooters. We got to run them off the line. We got to take care of the 3-point line. And really probably in all of that preparation about what we needed to do to defend the 3-point line, it was not on my bingo card for the roles to flip and for things, you know, it just felt like it was a team that was on a mission at that point. I mean, I feel like I did very, very little coaching, you know, at that point. This was just a well-oiled machine that was, you know, players just playing confident and trusting each other. And we had it, you know, going on a lot of different cylinders. And it just felt like, you know, we guarded the way we needed to guard. We protected that 3-point line, and we were making a lot of shots.
K-Stu, you were too. 14 points on 6 of 7 shooting, 100% from behind the arc. I mean, as coach said too, one final thing, not only offense was stellar, but the defense. You guys were tremendous against them. What memories do you have of that game, especially on the defensive front, and how you played?
You know, that game, I feel like, again, what everyone has said, you know, Power 5 team coming in, it was just like, you know, before it would be like, oh my gosh, this is a huge team, but just there was never, I don't think we ever felt like, oh my gosh, this huge team is coming in. Like, we just approached it like it was the next game, and we were so confident in each other and just what we could do. It's like a lot of people talk about, you know, control what you can control. But I actually felt, you know, as we kept winning these games, that it's like, this is completely in our control of what happens in this tournament, and just had so much confidence in everyone. And just as you watch the different plays happen, whether, you know, it's a tight game or, you know, we need something big done, it's like someone always made a play. Like, I remember going back to the Creighton game, Abby Fogg came in and had like 2 quick jumpers from the short corner when we really needed them. And just same thing in the Oregon game. It's like people just were making the plays that we had seen them make all year in practice, and we'd seen that, but of course, like, other people hadn't. And so it just felt like, this is us, and this is how we play, and this is how we do things. Yeah, it happens to be a huge program, but this is how the Yotes do things. And so I just remember really feeling like that in that game. And I don't, you know, it was like, oh yeah, it's a huge school, it's Power 5, but this is Coyote basketball, and this is how we play, and now they get to see it too.
Yeah. You gave them a taste of their own medicine there. All right, we're going to play the clip. Taya, this is your shot with about 6 minutes to go in the third quarter. One of the most remarkable shots I've ever seen here against Oregon. Chad, when you could.
That will go against Kate Liveringhouse, her third.
Just like you draw it up. That was a line drive.
Well, did you see Amy Williams on the bench there? See if we can get a look at Amy here. Middle of your screen. Oh, it's going to cut out.
She wasn't too happy with the way things were looking on that possession, but it still ended up gold for her team.
was like maybe Sports Center.
It was deafening. It was deafening in there. I remember being speechless during that shot. And Ty, I know you were asked this a bunch after the shot, but for Coyote fans listening that maybe that's the first time seeing it, what's going through your head when you shoot it? Like, were you going, oh my gosh, that's going in?
Yeah, well, I know, like, backtrack, before the game even started, I remember at shoot around, Oregon was just leaving, and they're making fun of the dome, and they're like, well, what are we playing? And we're not used to these facilities. Like, this is, nothing compared to what we're used to. And then I think they went on like a 4-wheeler, and then they were taking pictures and then posted it to their social media. And I don't remember who was with me, but we were like, that's it. Like, nobody makes fun of the dome. We're going to make him pay for that comment. And so, we definitely made them pay. Yeah, I looked at the scores, like 74-38 or whatever it was. And I guess with that shot, I feel like the basketball gods were definitely in our favor. In my favor, I mean, I just threw something up and it went in. And I mean, that video gets posted every year by like all my relatives, and it makes me laugh. And I just think that probably was one of the highlight of my moments in my whole entire life. And I just think, it was really special, and maybe like playing softball, maybe all that hard work paid off. I'm not sure, but no, it was just the cherry on top, I guess, So
I remember looking over at your family when you made it too. They were going, they had no idea what was happening. And final thing on this game, John, were you on the call for this game? What was that like?
Yeah, it was incredible. And you heard kind of Jay Elson referencing Coach Williams, and I'll never forget that shot because Ty just throws that thing in the air. And at that moment, you knew like literally everything is going in for the Yotes, right? And I think I reacted I just put my hands on my head like, are you kidding me? And I look up and Coach Williams is doing the same thing. She's like this. And I think there's a photo somewhere of both of us with our hands up on the top of the head because we were both just like, you're in the moment, right? Whether you're coaching, you're playing, but at some point you get that fanness in you where it's like, are you kidding me? Like, what is going on? And it was incredible. It all started. I'm glad Coach Williams brought that up about the West Gym because, Oregon, I think they had to come to us from UTSA. If I remember right. And so they had to travel from Texas to Vermillion, South Dakota, and they're welcome to Vermillion, South Dakota as the West Gym, which, the West Gym gets talked about a lot in a very not nice way, but big advantage when Oregon came in, because when that's what you have to practice. We did, I remember, I don't remember what year it was, if it was this year or not, have to practice in a worse gym than the West Gym. Do you remember Portland State's practice gym that we played in that year? Because their men were playing a game during our practice time, and we were playing in their practice gym, and I'm almost positive the rim was like tilted on one of the baskets, and the floor had dead spots, and that's worse than West Gym. But this game was so incredible because the crowd, as we talked about, right, got bigger and bigger and bigger, and it was just everybody was engaged. Like if you were in the game, at the game, you were engaged with it, with everything, and you go back and think about how that scoring happened. And like that third quarter, holding them to what was it, 7 points? And USD just, outscored them by 20-some points in the third quarter. And that was just absolutely incredible. And that was one of the craziest crowds we'll ever get as far as, the activeness and just what that game meant for USD as a school, but for the women's basketball program and where it would eventually go.
And then it's followed up by the championship game that we're going to talk about now. So again, 88-54 win over Oregon in the semifinals, WNIT championship. USD welcomes in Florida Gulf Coast to the Dakota Dome. If anyone's got a story about how they talked about the dome, would love to hear it. This is a picture I took on probably like an iPhone 2 or whatever was around in 2016. I just remember taking this all in going, because this was truly the last basketball game to be played in the Dakota Dome. And I just remember saying, wow, a bunch. So last game of the Dome, I would like to go around and just kind of get your thoughts on the game from coming out of that the locker room and seeing that crowd to the game itself. Kelly, let's start with you.
This is actually a memory that I've told so many people because it's just ingrained. It's like a photo memory just ingrained in my head. So we go in the locker room twice during our warm-ups. One was around like the 42-minute mark, and then the second time was 12 minutes, something to go. But anyways, obviously closer to game time. And we came out after our second locker room meeting, and we're getting ready we're huddling, about to do our USD, and I just remember looking up and right off of our locker room, like just a few steps out, and just seeing the crowd. It just kept going. And just to see, I had never seen the dome that filled before. Obviously, we had seen more and more fans, with our games building up to that, but I had just never seen it that packed. And it was like, it just is ingrained in my head. And I just remember this feeling of like, oh my gosh, like this support is just incredible. Like these people are here for us to cheer us on, and just being so thankful and grateful. And also it was just a unique thing because for us seniors, I guess anytime a season's ending, it's like, oh, it could be your last one. It could be your last one. It might be. And it's like, we knew this was our last game and just of our careers and everything at USD. And so I think that emotion plus seeing the fans, it just really, really stuck with me. And just, it was a moment of like, with all the craziness and nerves going on before the game, it was just like, wow, I'm just so thankful to be here.
Margaret, how about you?
I'm gonna try not to cry because I'm the emotional one, but just like watching Taya's clip, I think my favorite part of that clip is her smile at the end, and like that just like wraps it all up, that whole experience. And if I remember right, didn't they have to bring extra bleachers in the dome? I think a lot
they wheeled in extra student section bleachers.
Yeah, there was like a ton of extra seats. I mean, just to piggyback off of Kelly, like only a few teams in the whole country get to end their career on a win. And we had an opportunity to do that. And I just knew, like, wrapping my arms around those girls, like we were going to give it everything. And not only did it move us in such a special way, but I will be at Hy-Vee getting groceries and someone will tap me and say, I was at the WNIT championship. It was the best game I've ever been to. I mean, it was just electric in that dome. And to just feel the support, not only from each other. I think Taya said in one of the other games when we were talking about just like not looking up at everyone and just focusing on us. But it was so hard not to like just for a second be like, wow, we like these people are all here for us and like the magic we've created. And now I'm gonna cry so we can pass it off, but I just don't think you can describe it. It was like a dream come true, something you always want to be a part of. Next.
Taya, how about you?
Yeah. I think, we had the home court advantage yet again. And I think everybody in South Dakota was there cheering for us, supporting us. So we had them, on our side. And I think with my mindset and same with, I know this, I could probably vouch for everyone else, is like, we knew like there's nothing that's going to stop us from winning. This is our court. We're going to defend our court. Nobody's going to beat us. And I think it was just such a special opportunity to do it together in Vermilion, where everything started. And like we could do it for each other, for our fans, for the community of Vermilion. And I just think about like how us freshmen, we all came in, and that's when Coach Williams came into as well. And this was like the ultimate dream, the ultimate gift. So again, I think this is like the most inspiring, the most like special thing that I've ever been a part of. So I wish we could go back. I wish we could just play it all over again. Just the best memories, best 4 years of my life. So just so very grateful for Coyote basketball and the Coyote community.
Coach, I'll end with you. Obviously, last game before heading to alma mater, Nebraska. But I want to take it to where you're on that ladder and you're cutting down the net, and there's that iconic video of you, waving the net around. What's going through your mind, and like what are you thinking during that moment, if you can recall?
Well, I just felt like, kind of the girls alluded to, heading into that game, it was just like, I just knew there was no way we were going to be denied, like we have not come this far. And when I just thought back to every single thing that fell in line to kind of make that opportunity and that moment come for us, like from clear back to all of the people that helped us put together waivers so that Nicole Seakamp could have another year of eligibility and for that to get approved. And then for, our team to be able to, we talked about bringing Oregon in and this Power 5 school coming into our place, but we had brought Washington in to play a non-conference game. And, we played against Kelsey Plum and that was a Final Four team that year that came in and, we were just not used to having Power 4 teams that were willing to come into Vermillion, South Dakota and play in the Dome, but I think that game helped prepare us for the game when Oregon came in, and we were much better and less intimidated and just ready for that moment because of the way everything lined up that season. And then, to go through, to have an administration that did everything right for us to be able to, with the exception of that one Minnesota game in that WNIT, the things that have to happen for you to be able to host, and for our administration to step up and put us in the position to be able to be playing those games in the Dakota Dome, and just, I think more than anything, just the way that this team went from the heartbreak of winning a regular season title to not winning a conference tournament championship and then not being able to realize the dream of playing in the NCAA tournament, which was kind of our goal all along, but to then be able to find a way to kind of refocus and just move towards this new opportunity. I guess I just feel like all these things just lining up perfectly to head into this championship game where we're selling, limited view only seats, like who would have ever dreamed, people would be buying limited view seats, to come watch, women's basketball game. And, but the way it played out, the last game ever in the Dome, just so incredibly special. I couldn't be more proud of a team in my entire life. I just am so proud of the way that group overcame and refocused and gelled and, played with each other and for each other. And, that championship game, it wasn't easy. I mean, Florida Gulf Coast was a very, very good team, and it wasn't easy, but it most certainly felt like we were on a mission and we would not be denied.
That wonderfully said. And, I'd be remiss if I didn't mention, obviously we're joined with Taya, Kelly, and Margaret tonight, but, Heidi and Nicole, Heidi Hoff, Nicole Seakamp, the other seniors on that squad, just tremendous student athletes, and was really proud to know you guys during my time when I was finishing up school down there as well. One final thing from me, and Kelly, I'm going to bring you in on this one. We obviously know one of the most kind, caring individuals we know that was a former player and teammate on that squad. Bridget Arn Schumacher passed away in late 2024. Since then, there has been a memorial fund campaign set up in her name. Kelly, do you want to talk about that really quick?
Yeah. I'm in a unique space to talk about this too now, working for the USD Foundation Alumni Association. And just this memorial campaign embodies everything that Bridget was and that she would have wanted. The funds go to help with an assistantship for the women's basketball program. It's totally for the women's basketball program. And so you think about Bridget, she was a teacher and a coach. Her whole life goal and mission was helping others and improving others' lives through mentoring them, through coaching them. And so these funds go into women's basketball and help with that. And actually, they've already been able to use some of the funds this year to support the GA. And so it's everything that Bridget would have wanted, and just such an incredible person that we were lucky enough to have in our lives. And so I feel like this memorial campaign just continues on her legacy, and it just embodies what she and how she lived her life.
I love it. I love it. And we are going to post the link for that this week on all our social channels. So if you were unable to see the screen tonight, and if you're listening, we'll post the link if you're able to donate to that campaign fund. So Mark, Chad, that's it from me. Do you guys have any comments or questions for the crew? John, too?
Well, so first of all, to Coach, I when I reached out to Jeff, I told him we'd keep you for 10 minutes. We're well over 45, so I really appreciate you coming on. And the other thing I would say to you guys is, if you are ever in Vermilion and you find yourself buying a drink, then Vermilion is wrong. You guys are legends. People still talk about it a lot. Like, it's a core memory for a lot of people. So I think the disappointment of losing that championship game at the Summit League tournament actually turned into something really beneficial to us fans. So core memory. So I appreciate you all joining us. It's been fantastic.
Thank you.
Amazing to see you girls and see all of you. Yotes just warmed my heart. I would have stayed on here for 3 hours to connect.
I think we could have dove in pretty in depth to all these games, but I would have gotten yelled at, which it was just an honor to have you guys on. Some of the best memories of college of being on that practice squad, getting yelled. Coach, I don't know if you remember. I remember my first practice I had on the team. You yelled at me because I didn't know we couldn't block, so I jumped up and blocked Ray, and you were like, you snapped at me and said none of that. Later that year, she crossed me up good. Like, I fell back, and just, it was awesome. So with that, we'll close it out. Chad would say, way to make it about you, Jordan.
Sorry about that, Jordan. I apologize now.
Well, no, I was more mad at Brian, Duran, and Jay, who didn't tell me that I couldn't because they were already on the team. So, but hey, can't thank you guys enough. I cannot believe it's been 10 years already. So to Kelly, Amy, Taya, Margaret, and to John, thank you guys for joining tonight.
Thank you for having
us.
Yes, thank you so much.
That was
well done, Jordan. Well done.
Jordan. Great job. That was awesome. Man, I had my doubts going into this, but you crushed it, man.
I did too. I saw the time and I was like, oh no, am I going way too long here? I got a few.
We're on the internet. There's no time limit. Don't worry about it. Yeah. I've been trying to post some of these comments from viewers out there during the show, but I didn't want to interrupt people. But yeah, wow. I think Dr. Rowe said it best. Wow, that was awesome. Good job. Excellent. I don't know.
How do we go? What are we talking about now?
Well, we'll do news and notes. Mark?
Okay.
News and notes. Calling all Yotes. April 17th coming up here. Coming up even sooner than that. Family Day. Football. Second annual. 25th at 1 p.m. Still no word on tailgating. So, I mean, I'm not afraid to get UPD called on me again. Let's try it. Basketball season tickets. So, basically what we're seeing here is football, volleyball, men's and women's basketball season tickets are all available right now. So go to goyotes.com and get those gobbled up. 5 members of the USD swim and dive team, all academic team. Nick Grounds, Tanner, Matthew, Grace, and Anna, all recipients of that. Congrats to them. Molly Joyce, Jenna Hopp, and Angelina Robles, friend of the show. All academic district honors as well. Women's golf, as I mentioned in the beginning, Ella Greenberg wins Peak Performer of the Week for her victory in the tournament they were playing in. Women finished 4th overall in that. Marlene Mula, Summit League Indoor Field Athlete of the Year. We saw her at halftime of the game today. So congrats to her. Finished 2nd in the nation. Daniel Bizzard, hope I'm saying that right. Navy guy, as I read in his bio. Coach Thomas added him to the soccer squad coaching staff. So congrats to him. And Byron Robinson Jr., if you look at his picture, he just looks like a football coach. Like you see his picture and you're like, that's a football coach. He's the cornerback coach. Coach Vitz announced that. So our coaching staff is rounded out and away we go.
Yeah. Looking forward to all that. That's good information. Good news and notes there, Mark. Good job.
Thanks.
Well, hey, guys, we got a lot of games to go through here too, right? So WNIT, obviously we broke down the 2016 WNIT championship earlier in the show. But this year, another run happening right in front of us. It's the Super 16 game. Is that what it was?
Yes. Yeah,
so it was happening over at the SCSC. And so Pepperdine came to campus on Thursday. And of course, guys, I don't look at the first quarter number right here. Like, okay, this game was amazing because the first 2.5 minutes go off the clock and it's like 0-0. The first, we're like, oh, everyone's just kind of having a little jitters here. It's a little cold. And then Patience Williams hits a shot. And then defensive stop. And then Patience hits another shot. And then a defensive stop. And then Patience hits another shot. And then she comes down and hits another one. And then another one. A 14-0 individual run by Patience Williams to start off the game for the Yotes to have a 14-0 lead. The game was won right there, guys. That was it.
I don't think I've ever seen anything like that before.
Never.
The quarter overall, and then, like you say, Chad, just one individual to start the game off 14-0. Like that was electric. Absolutely electric.
Yeah. It was awesome.
It was reminiscent of the Oregon game 10 years ago.
Yeah, it really was.
Couldn't miss.
Yep.
And it says there was almost 1,600 fans there, but that crowd was so loud on that 14-0 run. It was crazy. Pepperdine was calling timeouts and trying to, figure out what was going on. And yeah, it was fantastic. So really enjoyed that. The Yotes ended up with a 73-57 victory in this one. Just, I don't know what else to say. We'll go ahead and read through some of the stats. Mark, take us through some of this.
Yeah, so I highlighted the first quarter for Pepperdine. I meant to do it for the Yotes, but just that, as we talked about there in the open there, they're shooting 4 for 15 in the first quarter. We were 67% and didn't miss a whole lot. And like you say, Patience was leading the way. She started off the game, was it 7 for 7 or 8 for 8 or something like that? Mm-hmm. So really the margin of victory was decided there when Patience decided to go off, and just, they made a couple runs here and there, but overall, like you say, Chad, that was the game there. Once Patience decided to go off.
Yeah. One of my favorite parts too, if you look at the first quarter, there was only 2 free throws attempted. There was actually 0 fouls until there was about 2 seconds left in the first quarter. And then the person behind us said, oh, there's no fouls called. And sure enough, Doug wasn't having that. He went ahead and put his fist up in the air. Right?
Oh, that's right. We had Doug officiating this game.
Yes, we did. Yes.
Oh, Doug. Of course you call a foul.
Oh.
Future friend of the show?
Well, we'll see. We'll see. I'm sure Doug is a pleasant guy in person.
Yeah.
So some of the individual statistics you see here, Angie Robles, friend of the show, finished with 20 points, 6 rebounds in this game. Patience Williams, after that hot start, we kind of teased Coach Amy after the game, Mark, but should have left her in the game. She took her out there for a little bit, but
right.
Patience kind of cooled off after that, but still finished with 20 points and 9 rebounds in this game. Fantastic. Elise Turbiadis, guys, she's doing everything she needs to do down there. She's such an impressive player to watch.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, she does. It doesn't always light up the points total necessarily, but she does a lot of really, really important and impressive things for the Yotes. The other thing I'd point out here is just take note of Molly Joyce here. 2 for 9 from the field, a little bit of struggle from the field. Did have 5 assists, but just the 7 points. She might get over that here a little bit.
I wonder if it motivated her for the next game. We'll see.
Well,
maybe.
Who was on the program against Pepperdine, guys?
I didn't get one.
Jenna Hopp was, and she ended up in double digits as well with 11 points. So
another one that kind of does the dirty work along with Elise. Yep. Not always on the top of the stat sheet, but important stuff from her as well.
Guys, I really enjoy it when I'm able to make it to these games and we get to go down and talk with the players after the game and talk with the coaches. And that's so much fun. I think USD is such a special environment for just college basketball in general, but they're genuinely happy. Just like, the young ladies we just talked to a few minutes ago, that they're just excited that people are there to cheer them on. And I think that's such a special part of all this.
Yeah. It's definitely unique to Vermilion.
So at the end of the game, Coach Amy gets on the microphone again, says, "Hey, guess what? We're hosting on Sunday at 1:00." And so Mark, of course, said, "Skip church." And went to the game. Yeah. And the Yotes ended up on top on this one, 65-56. A little bit of slow start for both teams in this one.
Yeah, it was I texted Jay Elson was there recording video for Midco Sports. I texted him at halftime. It was like the first team to 40 might win this game. It was just a rock fight. Both defenses, Montana pressing the full court, kind of jumping the we like to do that little high ball screen. They were jumping that. Montana State's really good. They were favored by 7. ESPN Analytics had us at a 33% chance of winning this game. So, they're legit. They're really, really good. But it was a defensive struggle there, especially in the first half.
Were there 3 jump balls in the first quarter?
Yeah, there was one in the first 10 seconds, I think.
10 seconds.
A bad call. There was a foul there, but that's beside the point.
Did the eye chart make it out for that one?
It sure did, yes.
10 seconds into the game?
What's that?
10 seconds into the game?
Oh, yeah, it was, yeah.
Is that a record? Is that a record?
Really close, yeah. It was not a great call, but anyway.
Well, Molly was fire, right? 31 points today.
But she was impressive.
And it was loud. I was watching on the little app on my phone while I was doing stuff, and man, it was I could hear the crowd there, Mark.
Yeah, my ears were ringing at the end, and even friend of the show, Thomas Jones, turned around and said, "My ears are ringing." I was like, "Yeah, it is loud." That's kind of my favorite thing about this run so far for this year's squad is the people that show up. They're not sitting on their hands. They're we're there to be a part of it, and we'll make a difference if we have to, and get up and cheer for the defense if needed. And so it was loud in there. It was a lot of fun.
Well, 65-56 final. Some of the statistics you can see here. The first quarter was kind of brutal shooting wise. 3 for 18 for Montana State, 2 for 11 for the Yotes there. But things really picked up in the second quarter, especially for the Yotes, 8 for 14 there. Not hitting the threes though, 0 for 3 in that second quarter. Third quarter, keeping it pretty consistent, but Montana State had a big run there and, kind of made things interesting. But then the fourth quarter, the Yotes were able to close it out. And we'll mention some of this, but you can see 9 for 13 from the free throw line in that fourth quarter when it counts. Individual statistics, we mentioned Molly Joyce, 31 points.
Molly
not getting denied today.
Though some of those layups, our oldest, when how she snuck underneath, he looked at us and watching on our phone, and he was like, "How does she do that?" I'm like, I don't know. I don't know how she sees the basket to What a game!
Montana State's long. Like some of those finishes were incredible. And the other thing I would point out here, and I hope Molly would appreciate this, she had 7 turnovers in the game, and there was a couple of them where she drives in and she thinks she knows where her help is, and she just threw it before looking, and it was right to Montana State. And you're like, "Oh, dang it, Molly!" And then she'd come down and get an and one or hit a 3 or whatever it was. Like, "Oh, you're forgiven, Mom. Great job, great job." So, she had a whale of a game, and thank God she was there because we needed her. So that was impressive, really impressive.
Elise Turbiatis, 3 block shots. giving them
Mhm.
sending it back, right? And then leading rebounder for the Yotes today, Angie Robles.
Angie.
Yes. Shortest player on the court, getting it done.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. I mean, that's the other thing worth pointing out here. I mean, Angie, not many games this year where Angie's been in single digits and let alone 4 points. And we came up victorious. So good sign for the team. Like anyone can step up.
Man, I tell you, Angie reminds me of Taya. Doesn't she? Like
Yep.
tenacity, like defense, the scrappiness. I mean, it's the parallels from this squad to, and yes, we're bringing up 10 years ago because that was the episode tonight, but there's so many of these players that have parallels to folks on that team 10 years ago. And Angie, like when Taya was talking, I'm like, gosh, Angie reminds me of Taya. Just the defense and that grit. I mean,
just
and I know we posted a picture of it on social media after the game on Thursday, but she plays so hard. She wore a hole in her sock during the game on Thursday. Pepperdine. Yes. Yes.
Not like a tiny hole, like just rip the end off.
Yes. I mean,
was it an Adidas sock? I bet Nike doesn't do that.
So here's the bracket. We're not going to, alienate any potential sponsors. But here's the bracket. You can see that as of right now, USD is in the Fantastic Four, Fabulous Four, Fab Four, the Fab Four. The other games are all taking place tomorrow. So you got Illinois State, George Washington on our side of the bracket. And then the other side of the bracket is Marshall versus Army and Arkansas State versus Cleveland State. So that's the WNIT bracket. We'll know a lot more about this about 24 hours from now.
Yeah.
So stay tuned to the socials and goyotes.com to see what's going on.
And I believe sorry, go ahead, Mark.
I was just going to say, I would root for George Washington tomorrow just to be safe. That's just my thought.
If we do host, I think Jerry P said on the telecast that it'd be that Wednesday because all these other games are tomorrow. So if we host, stay tuned to the socials, ours, USD Coyotes, USD Women's Basketball, all of it. Stay tuned. Go right. GW for now.
Well, Mark, should we do some softball here?
Softball traveled out to St. Thomas, undefeated St. Thomas in league play thus far. First game, we're not going to spend a lot of time on. 5 innings, 9-0 them. Lots of stuff happened. Game 2, later that afternoon, much better. Sarah Iberg went 2 for 3 with 3 RBIs. Brooke Carey 2 for 3 with a run. Delaney White, friend of the show, 1 for 2 with an RBI and a walk. And Aubrey Lensmeyer picked up the save, 3 innings in the 6-3 Yote victory. That's all I got to say about that. And then this afternoon, the rubber match, St. Thomas comes out on top, 4-1, only 1 hit for the Yotes, but it was a home run. Home runs are sexy. Thanks, Piv. Forgot I put that in there.
I set it up, Mark. I set it up.
No, it's not. It's on me. That's on me.
All right. That's all right. Well, Summit League standings.
Kind of, we I don't know if we talked about this in the group chat or where it was, but historically the Yotes have been 4th recently, and that's where we find ourselves. The other 3 teams in the league don't have a win yet, so it's a top 4 type race right now.
So really, I mean, getting a victory over South Dakota State, getting a victory over St. Thomas in those ones, pretty big. Close out the season with Omaha, so a long ways before we see them. So really, the next couple series here are really where the Yotes have to make up a lot of that ground.
Yep. And I did look this up from last week. Top 6 make the Summit League tournament for this.
Yeah,
top 2 get a bye
last week, right? Or did we say we didn't know?
I don't know.
Well, we don't know anything, do we, guys? We are.
Yeah, we're never quite sure exactly what's going on, but we try our best. Guys, like we always do about this time, looking for the perfect game day treat? Swing by the Dairy Queen in Vermilion, Hartford, or Del Rapids. Whether you're celebrating a big Coyote win or just need a pick-me-up, nothing hits the spot like a Blizzard treat, a classic DQ cone, or your favorite signature stack burger. From after-school stops to post-game celebrations, Dairy Queen is the place to gather, refuel, and treat yourself. Stop into Dairy Queen of Vermilion, Hartford, or Del Rapids today, because every day is a little better with DQ. As always, we do our DQ Player of the Week, and this week, our Player of the Week, we have two players, Jordan.
Yes, Howling Podcast Players of the Week, Patience Williams and Molly Joyce of USD Women's Basketball. Patience, 20 points, 9 boards versus Pepperdine, but most importantly, that 14-0 run by herself to start the game, as Mark touched on earlier. Molly Joyce, just a soft 31 points, 10 of 19 from the field, 10 of 13 from the line. Absolute baller today against Montana State. And as the slide says here, that's the third most postseason points in Summit League history. That's incredible. So congrats to Patience and Molly on the Howling Podcast Player of the Week, presented by Dairy Queen, Vermilion, Hartford, and Del Rapids.
And I'm assuming that's the third most postseason points in Summit League history in a single game, right?
Correct.
Okay.
Thanks
What was the score?
Yeah.
Goodness gracious.
Well, what's coming up this week, Mark?
This week, kind of a light week. We'll find out tomorrow who the women play and where they play in the Fabulous Four in the WNIT. Hopefully that's at home. Tennis will be out at Creighton on Wednesday. Softball is off, and track and field will be home for the early bird in the Dakota Dome.
Where's tennis going?
At Creighton.
Where's that at?
The belly button of America.
Oh, the belly button of America. All right. Well, guys, I really had a good time tonight, but we always usually wrap up our show with this.
And that's just what they wanted to do there. And all things considered, again, as you see the iChart cardboard cutout, how appropriate.
Through the review, the iChart made its way to the video board. It really injected some energy.
Our own Mark Wendt is famous for holding up that eye chart at men's and women's basketball games, even as early as 10 seconds into the game when officials make questionable calls. We go ahead and give our eye chart of the week moments for questionable calls that happened either in games or in life. As always, the eye chart of the week is brought to you by Maloney Real Estate. Buying or selling a home can feel a little like game day, exciting, stressful, and you really want the right team on your side. That's where Maloney Real Estate comes in. When you list your home with Maloney Real Estate, you're automatically covered by a $25,000 seller protection errors and omissions policy, included at no extra cost. And here's the kicker. That coverage lasts for 180 days after your home sells. It's peace of mind you don't usually get in real estate, and definitely not just a sign in your yard. Maloney Real Estate, more than just a sign in your yard. And I know, guys, I still drive by the signs. I think there's a lot more going on back there than just that sign.
Yep.
Every time.
My kids say it comes from the back seat. More than just a sign in your yard, Dad. Correct.
Well, this past week, Mark, you won. You should have won. Jordan, out of 17,000 plus people that voted, you got none. 0%.
What in the Sam hell is going on here? What?
That's not
0
the
out of 17,000.
We got a few then. So
yeah. All right. Well, Mark, you're up first.
So my eye chart of the week is going to go to Mark Wendt. This morning, I woke up to an odor in my house. My dog decided to leave a treat for me right in front of the entertainment center. I kind of lost my cool a little bit. I let the dog out. I picked up what she left me in a paper towel. I opened the door and I threw it out the door. My dog is kind of used to me throwing maybe a steak bone out there or leftovers or, something she can munch on. So she thought there was a treat on the way. So she got in the way of the projectile. It hit her and splattered all over her. So now I'm angry that I had to clean up something for my dog, and now I have to clean up my dog because of my own anger problems, I suppose you could say. So I'm giving the eye chart to myself. Mark Wendt gets my eye chart of the week. Relax, dude.
Did you at least yell, "Oh, poop," when it hit the? No,
I yelled stuff, but it's Sunday. We're not going to repeat it.
Well, take it easy on yourself, Mark. Everything's going to be okay.
It's fine.
But, yeah. Take it easy on the dog too.
Anyone want a dog? Well,
guys, I had a really good week. I was trying to come up with eye chart moments. Kind of couldn't think of anything. I did get the opportunity to interview several amazing, very talented high school basketball players at the 3-class shootout yesterday in Salem. And it was a fun experience. I'm going to give my eye chart of the week to Chad Berger, another self-nomination here, for totally stumbling over himself as he's interviewing very talented Ashlyn Carla Blunt. If you go watch the video, I'm just rambling on and on and on. Kind of gave a Jordan Decker type question to the talented athlete, and I'm going to give myself the eye chart of the week.
Since I got 0 votes, can I abstain from voting?
You have abstained for like 6 weeks, dude.
Well, it's Lent. I gave up complaining. It's been going okay. All right. If I were to have an eye chart as we approach Holy Week and the end of Lent, this would be probably my last time I don't have an actual eye chart. But if I did, I would give it to Caden Boozer. I've been a diehard Duke basketball fan for over a quarter of a century, and that turnover today to end the game against UConn and gift them a trip to the Final Four was inexcusable. I feel awful for him, but Caden Boozer turnover gets my eye chart if I were to have one this week.
Wow.
And Chad, it doomed my bracket.
No one cares. Nobody cares. Yeah, let's go. Mark,
I hope the sun comes up tomorrow.
Yes.
Yes,
it does.
Oh, all right. Well, hey, I'm sure there's lots of stuff we messed up on, but Mark, go ahead and tell us about 988 real quick.
988 Suicide and Life Crisis Lifeline. No judgment, just help. As we say each and every week, if you're struggling out there, especially if you're a dude, don't be afraid to reach out. It's a wonderful first step. They're going to be there 24/7, 365. Won't fix your problems, but at least we'll get you in touch with someone that can walk you through it. So don't give up. We need you. Stay here. You matter.
Real quick, there was a fan.
Right. Yes, there is.
A fan submission. There was another local establishment who had a watch party for a home game. So, FYI, just keeping that in mind. So we'll go ahead and we'll have to clip that. As always, special thanks to our sponsors, 19 Brewing Company, DQ of Vermilion, Hartford, and Del Rapids, and Maloney Real Estate, more than just a sign in your yard. As always, the Howling Podcast is produced by the Wakanda Peach Company, LLC, out of Burbank, South Dakota. Until next time, go Yotes.
Go Yotes. Good night, Vermilion.
Let's go! 3 idiots on a podcast. Like,
I don't know what I'm doing.
Runza sucks.
We don't know if any of that's true, but Bill. Oh, Jordan, don't give me this technically crap. Come on.
Got personal this week.
Lots of stuff happened.
Chad Berger, Brian Dawson, USD.
Yeah, you're wrong.
You
guys do it in a really professional manner, and it's awesome.